make the screen bigger. Okay.
Hi, Kim. How are you?
Hello, Gordon. Can you mute, please?
Information in different spots.
Okay. Okay. Welcome everybody to our Zoom meeting as well as in person. And we are Westwood Friendly Rotary Club. Village, Westwood Village. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, a lot of words. Maybe I'll abbreviate it at some point. Welcome everybody. We are starting the meeting. Official meeting. Okay. It's not working. You disconnected it. No. It's not working because you changed the way it is.
Okay, let me see. That's a
Loading for user error.
No, I think no, it's not advancing.
Tia, why isn't not advancing?
Click on the PowerPoint real quick.
On PowerPoint real quick.
Click on it and then use the clicker.
Okay. All right, let's go back. Welcome to those zooming in. And we have our district governor, Makiko. Hi, Makiko. And everybody else. Oh my God, you're not driving, are you? Oh, Sean, we don't drive in our Zoom meetings. That's Sean McMillan driving. Sean,
I have a fixed stand. I'm not having to do anything. It's just looking at me. I'm not even touching it.
It still gets me nervous. You might want to not screen your, there you go. Thank you. We're moving right along. Yes, it's not a good thing. Our theme this year is create hope in the world. And that is exactly what we need. Some hope in this world. Don't we, John? Yeah. Okay. Today is National DNA Day.
Every day is that.
Yes, for you, but today it was founded.
What's DNA?
You know, this stuff that they do, I can't even tell you. What does it stand for?
Yeah, you ribonucleic acid.
Okay, and besides Francis Crick, what's the person's first name? Watson. Something Watson. Dr. Watson and Francis Crick formally announced their discovery of DNA, which has changed our world as we know it.
They actually didn't discover it, they just, they figured out the structure of it.
Okay, well, stand corrected. Moving right along. Okay. Since I am acting as president today, our president is going to stand up and read the 4 questions. Four-way test. Speaking of
Things
council.
we think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you, President Steve.
Thank you, PE.
Well, what does all concern mean to you, Tom? Well, Rotarians, or does it mean everybody? Everybody. All concerned. Yes. Well, it's more specific than that. Okay, we'll discuss this at a later date. I think we ought to change that. You take it up with Mikiko, see if she could do something. It's above my pay grade. Moving right along. I want to thank Janet Schwartz for being one of the graders. But there's another role that I have for her later, and this will be very exciting for her. Pledge allegiance, Diane Good. Please, it's right here, the flag's right here. Let me hold it. Allegiance to the flag. Republic. And one nation under God.
People flag.
Could not hear that for some reason.
I don't know. He couldn't hear it.
Oh.
Is everybody else, could they hear it? Just checking in? Makiko,
Yes, I
could you-
heard it.
Okay, good. Well, I can't help you according in that regard. Apologize. Thought of the day, Mike Newman. Come up, Mike Newman. We got Ed Jackson coming in the house too. Oh my God, we got a full house.
Well, since Diane will be speaking about the marathon, she's done so much for our club. I was thinking about marathons and thinking back early in her Rotary role, been there a lot longer. I found out she was a marathon runner and maybe even training people along Wilshire Boulevard. Now, I'm very proud. So I looked up some sayings today about marathons.
By the way, Mike, there is a crowd looking at you, so why don't you stand right here so that everyone can hear you and see you.
So I looked up a few sayings about marathons, and it was interesting that a lot of it showed some of the Rotary spirit, that it builds friendship, strength, and brings countries together, and brings peace, and what have you. But a few marathon sayings were, running a marathon is a stressful event for your body, mind, and spirit. But when you put yourself through that willingly, consciously, in a learning atmosphere, you begin to understand how to deal with any stressful situation in a way that does not drain you. Applies to you, I think. Then, another one was, if you want to run a mile, if you want to experience a different life, run a marathon. Then Oprah Winfrey had this. I didn't know why she would be talking about marathons, but she did. Running is the greatest metaphor for life because you get out of it what you put into it. And then C.S. Lewis had this to say, hardships often prepare ordinary people for an extraordinary destination. And then turning to some woman thoughts, there was one last one that I thought maybe was humorous. And I'll leave you with that one, and it was courage, sacrifice, determination, commitment, toughness, heart, talent, guts. That's what little girls are made of, not sugar and spice.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Mike Newman, the thought of the day. Okay, we're moving right along. My God, it is time for Ed Gold. In the song of the day, Army Goes Rolling Along. So do you have a hat?
I think I do. I thought it would be appropriate because we have so many wars going on. And Biden just signed another $100 billion for another war that we sing an army song. And Tom, I have a special treat for you. I have the latest helmet that has been issued by the Army. Oh, latest one.
Back 60 years ago.
I think you might have to put it on. Oh my God.
This is the latest one.
You want everybody to stand up?
yes.
Please, everybody stand up.
Okay. Okay. Over hill, over dale, as we hit the dusty trail, and the caissons go rolling along. In and out, in and shout, counter march and right about, and those caissons go rolling along. This time. Boy. Caissons go rolling. Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. You want me to need some help to take that off? Thank you, Ed Gold,
You're welcome.
and your, anybody else in the armed forces?
Diane's in the Salvation Army.
Okay, Salvation Army. All right, moving right along. thank you today to Jim Crane for doing our windmill. And this is a special treat today. I asked Janet Schwartz to talk about the meaning of Passover since we're in the week of Passover. So Janet, please come up. I asked her to do a Reader's Digest so that everybody who isn't Jewish will understand Passover. Okay? Janet, you're talking to everybody. Right. Right.
Now this is going to be, this will be Passover light. I'd say that, I was raised in a secular family, so I don't know all the religious.
Tonight's Passover. What?
It started on Monday night. Passover is Pesach in Hebrew, and it's the commemoration of freedom and the flight from Egypt. And the word Pesach means Passover, and it's described in the book of Exodus, which is the second book of the Bible, and it's part of the Torah. So anyway, basically why it's called Passover is when Moses told the Pharaoh to let his people go, Pharaoh refused, and Egypt was afflicted with 10 plagues. The last plague was the death of the firstborn child. And what the Jews did is they sacrificed a lamb and placed blood on their doorstops so that they would be passed over. So that's the name of Pesach. And in some languages, they use the same word for both Easter and Pesach, Easter and Passover. And for details, you could read the Bible or you could see the film, The Ten Commandments. So it's very accurate, actually. And by the way, about Moses, there is a modified version of Michelangelo's statue of Moses right by Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. And there is a connection between Passover and the Christian religion, because when Jesus entered Jerusalem, it was to celebrate Passover, and the Last Supper is a Passover Seder. And again, in Los Angeles, there is a reproduced version of the Leonardo da Vinci's Last Supper at Forest Lawn. It's done in, it's a stained glass, and it's rather remarkable at Forest Lawn in Glendale. And I think it's still available to be viewed. Now, the Jewish calendar is a lunar calendar, and Passover is on the 14th, on the night of the 14th of the month of Nisan. Since it's a lunar calendar, every now and then they add another month, and that's why it's so late this year. Now, Western Easter has a different way of determining the date, but Orthodox Easter comes after Passover, and Russian and Greek Orthodox Easter is going to be Monday, May 5th. Passover is celebrated for 7 days. And it starts with the Seder. The Seder is a rather lengthy meal with, it has a ritual. There's a book called the Haggadah that was written about the Passover Seder. It was originally done orally, then it was written down. Now, in the Jewish tradition, all the boys learn how to read. And this was rather significant in years gone by when most people were illiterate. So the Seder has sort of an order. It starts with 4 questions and answers. And I'll
Can you
quickly
give an
read.
example of one?
Yeah, one question is, why do we eat only matzah tonight? And that was basically because the Jews did not have time to leaven their bread before they fled Egypt. So they have flat bread. And interestingly enough, one would think that flat matzah, which is made only from water and flour, would be fairly innocuous. However, there have been cases in the past, such as the blood libel. I don't know whether you know about it, but in Central Europe, Eastern Europe, and in Russia, Jews were accused of killing Christian children and using their blood to make matzah. And as a result, some Jews were murdered because of that. They were incarcerated. Another case of matzah is that in the Soviet Union, it was banned to make matzah between 1962 and 1969 for some reason. I don't know. Now, the word Seder means order or arrangement, and there are certain items on the Seder plate. This is Passover life. One item is the shenton, which represents the sacrificial lamb. Another one is a hard-boiled egg, which represents rebirth and renewal. And then there are vegetables such as bitter herbs, which represent the bitter life of being a slave. And those are dipped in salt water. Salt water represents the tears of the slave. And then there's roset, which is a mixture of apples and wine and nuts, and that represents the mortar that was used to build structures for the pharaoh. And that's a very quick overview.
Very excellent. Thank you, Jan. And that yeah.
This is my question, because I was wondering why usually Passover coincides with the Easter week. You said because of the month of Nisan it's added this year, but now next year we'll go back to coinciding with it.
Well, it often doesn't coincide. A Western Easter is, I think, the first Sunday after the first full moon after the equinox, which sometimes coincides, sometimes does not. And actually, some years, Orthodox Easter and Western Easter do coincide, depending on when Passover was. So,
Janet, thank you so much. I actually learned a lot today, and I've do that my whole life and have celebrated Passover all my life. I didn't know certain things, thank you very much. It was very educational.
but one last thing, I was at the Seder at Mark and Lynn's.
Okay, thank you, Janet. And Angel, welcome. Stay right now. Well, you're gonna be up in a few minutes. You can get something to eat if you like. Okay. Visiting Rotarians and guest Rotarian. Visiting Rotarian, Shireen, could you please stand up? I know you have a mouth. Could you come up and introduce yourself, please? Talk about a person that's committed to service. This one.
And Shireen Mutsavinidad. I am, this year I am a district Rotaractor advisor and also one of the unions that help them.
What club are you from?
Greater Van Nuys Rotary Club.
Greater Van Nuys.
Welcome. Welcome.
You got two guests.
Oh, we do have two guests, and I apologize. Would Steve, President Steve, would you introduce your guest?
We often talk about your superpower. Well, she's my superpower.
Who is that?
Yeah.
Oh. Thank
Zickfeld Day, some of you know her dad was a Rotarian.
And Diane, would you introduce yours?
My
Yes.
superpower?
Yes.
I have been very glad.
Right, welcome.
You cut out again. Yeah.
No way.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Yes. Oh. Well, makeup and kiss. See, you didn't know out there that you would see kissing in our meeting. All right, let's move on. Is there a way that I can? Yeah.
Well, we can go with our.
Okay,
Don't we
so
have a guest from a distinguished guest?
And, oh yes, I'm sorry, we do have a distinguished guest, Mikiko. District Attorney.
Hello, Westwood Village Rotarians. Thank you, Gordon, for remembering me.
Thank you for the shout out. I appreciate it. And you can unmute yourself any other time that you feel it can make my meeting even better, okay? Only then. Now, Steve, since you know these by heart, come up here and make the announcement.
Okay.
Because I can't see them.
All right, first one is Saturday. It's the district Rotarians at work at Sunset Beach. I know some of us have already signed up, participate in that activity. It's from 9 to 11 o'clock at Sunset Beach. So if you haven't done it yet, go on the district website, District 5280, and you can register for the Rotarians at work on Saturday. Ben and I will be there, Diane and I will be there, so hopefully some others of you will be joining us too. On May 3rd through 5th, district conference and the Dodger baseball game. So if you have, I think the game is closed now in terms of getting tickets, but in terms of being involved, coming down and participating in district conference, if you haven't signed up, please go to District 5.
Mikiko, I have a question for you. Since you're gonna throw out the pitch, is Otani going to be coaching you and giving you tips?
Well, this time I think I'm going to be just cheering for Otani and Yamamoto, I think. But regarding the district conference, may I please ask everyone to consider coming to join my governor's ball and Sunday brunch.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And on the 13th, Monday, the 13th at the Beverly Hills Hotel will be a luncheon with RI President Gordon McAnally. And I know several of us will be there. Again, go to the district website if you're interested in participating in that.
Can I make a comment on that, Steve?
I'm sorry, what, Marcia?
Can I make a comment on that? Yeah, it would just be so great if we could get a table for 10 for our, and have a Westwood Village table. I just think it'd be great.
Yeah. I'm not sure we can make that number yet, but I did reach out to Tori about having us sit together. So we'll see what happens there.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you. You just need 6 more people. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, see, she got the number.
Yeah, and moving on, other, Ben's PE Ben's district assembly called spring training this year.
So I wanna make an announcement. No, the 18th. Everybody in this room, be it board or not, I would love to have you guys represent our club really large. It's in the valley, we can carpool, and Terry, I think we should expense it for everybody to go. They go.
Where are you going?
What?
Where are you going to?
No, the district assembly. Okay, so everybody, no money out of your pocket, just you pay for it, we'll reimburse you, okay? So everybody, raise of the hand, who's coming to the May 18th district assembly?
Those hands up.
Come on, hands up, hands up. It is an assembly, yes. Raise, I don't see enough hands. Do I have to go around and go? We'll take care. You want to come?
Yeah.
Okay, Janet, we'll figure it out. Don't worry about it. Chris is going to be going too.
All right, continuing on with upcoming events, May 19th, Sip and Sing wine appetizers at the Gainers Home. So we have over 20 people signed up for that. So if you haven't yet, let Chris know through the invite he sent. I'll ask Chris to send it out again, just to remind everybody.
By the way, that's my going away party to Singapore.
Yeah. And there's a special treat, which I'll share with everyone in a little while about that. And then we're having a golf on the 30th of May. I've already confirmed that. And I'd like to know if I would like others to plan activities. We're going to go dark that day. We won't have a meeting on Thursday the 30th. We're all getting together. And one thing I'd like to do before we have a fun activity is go to the YMC and pack food for families who have food challenges. I know Janet was there today, and so on the 30th, I'd like to do that in the morning beforehand. I think that's it on the announcements, but I do have another quick announcement regarding Ruth Bay. I think most of you know that Ruth's Bay had a fire at a facility and a restaurant this past Tuesday. I talked to Ruth's Bay earlier today, and he gave me some details. It did not happen in his kitchen. It was an electric box outside the restaurant that caught on fire. The restaurant itself was in pretty good condition. There was smoke damage, and but the kitchen wasn't touched. There's gonna have to be a new roof. It's gonna be a while to get everything settled with insurance and all. Delphi restaurant is open for business. The Commodore on the corner is closed. The antique store is closed. Ruth's Bay's Old is closed. The ice cream shop next door and Delphi are open for business. He said they're doing good. Ron is somewhat stressed out about all this that won't be expected, but Ruth's Bay is literally surviving. They'll come back stronger and better, and he's looking forward to having us back at Persian.
So you're saying the electric box on the outside affected several.
Yeah, they caught on fire, and then the fire carried up onto the roof. It was so really bad, it was outside, it's got a new roof put on above his restaurant and above Commodore specifically.
Is there anything that we as Westwood residents do help?
I asked him, at this point, he asked him if he vocalized anything, but we'll say it's kind of communication with the group.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, President. You're welcome.
Oh, and one other thing, past presidents, remember stay here, both on Zoom as well as here in person. We have a short meeting of the past presidents, and we have something to go over with you. I provided all that information with you ahead of this meeting, so hopefully we can get it done in about 5-10 minutes.
And since Ed, you are past president, I'd like you to stay as well.
Stay here, let's just see it now.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Okay, gotcha.
All right, so all past presidents, please stay.
Yes, we have an announcement.
So I received this morning from our member, Cheryl Rosenstein, about using national line. Next Thursday, District Governor Machiko will be receiving the first semester rehearsal. We got rid of the Presbyterian Church. I also have a line up screen. It will be regularly renewed. We have
Benjamin, Benjamin, can you hear me? The person who is speaking, we can't hear them unless they come up to the front. Like we couldn't hear what Diane was saying. And when you talk,
well, I'm coming up there pretty quick. I'll just do it then.
Well, okay, this is good information. So you can hear me fine,
I
correct?
can hear you fine. We could hear Janet fine. But when the people are talking from their seat or from wherever they're sitting, we can't hear them. They have to come up front and stand where you're standing.
Great, good point. Thank you, Marcia. Recap of Saturday's event. Dave Silver, can you come up here, please? And
yeah, so this past Saturday, we had a cleanup and pretty successful. I think we had 21 people in all. Of that, 5 people from 5 Rotarians, 3 Rotaracts, and then quite a few people from either BCC or even just individuals from the community, because Gina had posted the signs up at some of the businesses. So there were several people that saw that and came. And even got my partner Dia to join in the cleanup.
oh yeah, wait a second.
There she is.
I wanted you to see that.
Yeah. So we had a good cleanup. We cleaned up, must have been over 30 bags of trash around Wilshire, Westwood Boulevard, Santa Monica, and Sepulveda.
And Dave Silver, thank you so much for organizing. Appreciate it.
So, by the way, next month, we will not have a cleanup in Westwood. But we will still be doing the one in Brentwood the week before, so the second Saturday of May.
Thursday, because of the district training center.
Right, okay. Today's program, we have a dual program. And I'm pleased to introduce our past president, and we'll call her everything to our club, Diane Good. And she's going to talk about her experience in Paris. Now, I told her if we didn't have the other speaker, she would talk about what stays in Paris, but she doesn't have it. Okay, she's little. Okay, here you go.
All right, Tia, is she still on?
I don't know.
Let's see.
I'm
how
still
we-
on.
How do I get to my PowerPoint?
Go down. Okay. Exit. Yeah, minimize. Press that minimize button, Diane.
What, where?
You see where the mouse is? Click on that button, the top right.
All right, so, okay, what am I supposed to do? Minimize where?
At the top right of the PowerPoint.
The PowerPoint's gone.
Oh, no.
The PowerPoint's gone.
Stop sharing.
Okay.
And now where do we go? Share screen? One of these yours?
Yeah, pull up your.
Where is it? Here, hit PowerPoint there.
Right here?
Okay, yeah, there it is.
Oh, there it is.
Okay.
Can you see that?
You gotta do share screen again.
Oh, I got you.
I know how.
To share.
Sorry,
Here we go. Oh, no, this is share. No, it's not. You don't see it.
It's right there over in the corner.
Angel, go ahead and help out.
Okay, Angel.
Angel!
Angel.
I've been on Zoom for 2 years in school.
Oh, it's her is right there on the PowerPoint down there. Right there. That's it.
Thank
Okay.
you, Angel.
Can't hear.
I think you guys muted it.
Hello? Can you hear us?
Yes, we can hear you now. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, I am going to say, I'm not a photographer, so these are not the best pictures in the world. This is where the Paris Marathon started. And now it's not working again. All right, hold
Click
on.
on the PowerPoint. Click on the PowerPoints for the remote to work.
Stay right
Yeah, I
Probably should.
Try it now.
Okay, there we go. All right, so I am a mentor with the LA Labor Organization. It is a run walk club out of Santa Monica, California. I've been a member for 12 years. I've done 9 marathons, several half marathons, 5 and 10Ks. This is my group. We're known as the Sweet 16s. We are walkers and we do a 16-minute mile. All right, so Paris, we started talking about during the Paris Marathon approximately 5 years ago. And it took us 5 years to really get it all together and all of us decide that we were just gonna do it. And so this is my first day in Paris. I went to Notre Dame, for obvious reasons. It is still not open. It won't be until 2025. So it won't even be open for the Olympics. This is Louis Vuitton. Of course, we've got shopping and a lot of shopping done. And I gave that picture because I thought it was so cute. It's like the shape of one of their bags. And that's the storefront. And then, of course, again, where the marathon started.
Notre Dame had that big fire, and you saying it's already reconstructed now?
No, they've started, but it won't be done until 2025.
Oh, that's an old picture.
No, the facade is still there. No, see the tent in front? So it's got a fence all the way around it.
And the facade that you're looking at, that was never touched.
Yeah, that's what happened.
I'm sorry, not to speak on.
They have some of it back, yeah, absolutely. Okay, these are my partners in crime. So it says Sweet 16s except for Henry. Henry's in the back of the first picture. He's a 9-mile-minute runner. But he showed up there by himself, so we let him hang out with us. Tanya, the one in front, has lived throughout Europe, so she speaks French. She was my partner walking the whole marathon and talked to everybody. So it took us a long time to finish. So I have Shelly, Tatiana, Veronica's from San Francisco. She used to be Lager with us, Pearline, Tanya, and then of course Henry. And then Maki and Virginia joined us, but they only did half a marathon. All right, so this is the day before where you have to go pick up your bibs. And they had approximately 60 to 65,000 runner walkers this year. And usually they don't do more than 50,000. But because of the Olympics coming up and because the city's really clean and they're practicing, they decided to enlarge it for this 1 year. So here I am looking at the famous wall of names. Of course, I found mine, took a picture. This is the medal that I'm wearing. Only a larger one that we took a picture in the day before, just in case. Just in case we didn't finish. So again, here's the star. I got there earlier than the others, so I took a quick selfie. And now what I'm going to try to do is show you the route. You're going to go on it with me. I don't think you're going to be able to hear this on Zoom, but you can watch it. So let me see how I do this. I just.
Enjoy, we have to be at our meetings from now on.
Yeah, I think so.
And the finish. Let me move to the next. Text of repeat. Text to repeat.
So it starts on the Champs-Élysées and ends up there.
Yes, and they closed the city down for this marathon. And this is one of the top 5 marathons in the world, and they closed the city down. You can't get a taxi. You can't get around, and you can see why. So we see everything. We go through the neighborhoods, we see all the major monuments, we see the parks, the woodlands. We see all of Paris. It's just a beautiful route, absolutely stunning. And it is not, by the way, the marathon route. The marathon will be going from Paris to the Palace of Versailles, the ending of the Palace of Versailles. So it's a different route. All right, so over here on the left. For the Olympics, yeah, sorry. This is the start of the race. As you can see, we're all happy, ready to go. This is the end of the race. I'm still smiling. I'm probably just delirious at this point, but who knows?
Did you sleep well that night? Did you sleep well that night?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, quite well. Quite well. All right, so a couple things.
Was the terrain flat? Unlike the LA one, was it flat or were there hills?
No, it's pretty flat. Yeah, it's pretty flat. Absolutely. So here are some who are Tia, there's somebody, Nancy Cohen needs to be admitted. Okay, so along the route, we went by, of course, the Grand and the Petite Palace, both which are being renovated to be used as venues for the Olympics. The Eiffel Tower, we were supposed to go to the top of it on Thursday, the 5th or 4th, and it poured rain, so we couldn't go up. But right next to the Eiffel Tower, they are building a park that also will be used as a venue in the Olympics. And this bridge I did just for Chris, and that's a secret little story behind that. All right, along the route, we did go through the Princess Diana Tunnel. Sadly. We went through the Louvre, past the Triangle. Look here, I have a cheering crowd from Chicago. Who even knew they knew I was in the marathon? But there they were, hello from Chicago. And then this, of course, is the Museum d'Orsay. Now, I don't know if you can really tell, but the water level, it was extremely high. Paris had had as much rain as LA had had at that point in time. So boats were not allowed out on it. There were no cruises the whole week I was there because the water level was way too high. And they're supposed to have the opening ceremony on the water, and they don't think they're going to be able to do it because it's so polluted from the rain. So they're trying to clean it now, hoping for no more rain. So the museums are beautiful. It takes days to get through the Louvre, through the Museum d'Orsay. I know that's only 2 of maybe 15 that they have. But you can go to the parks and see the artwork for free. It's beautiful. And we saw some of this on the route. They also have these wonderful little cheerleaders and bands along the way that are a lot of fun. And as I said, time would stop and talk to everybody. Everybody. Okay, so here again is the Grand Palace. They do have homeless, but nowhere near what we have here. And they have trucks that come clean up around their areas every single day. Now, I will tell you that this homeless encampment here is right near the Ark. So I guarantee it won't be there for the Olympics. That's going to get moved. And then this is the La Madalena Catholic Church, which was right down the street from my hotel. I had a beautiful hotel, little boutique one, right near all the museums. I could walk to the Eiffel Tower. I could walk to the main shopping area, the Champs-Élysées. So yeah, I had a great hotel. So this is where we prayed the day before, so that we would have a safe marathon, which we all did. And that's the end.
And I promised everybody we'd be out of 1:30.
Well, if I can, I'd like to give Diane a gift for her presentation, but if you hold the bag carefully. Diane, this is a gift, but it's two things. I'm gonna actually show Diane now what it is. And this is the new Westwood Village Rotary Club wine glass.
Oh.
When you go to Chris's and Rose's wine tasting, you will receive a glass or two glasses if you're permitted. You're gonna discuss that. It might just be an encouragement for everyone to come.
Oh, yeah, there is. Come for the wine. So Angel, we're only gonna have 10 minutes. That's what he's gonna present.
Yes.
Well, I know, but I thought it was later on.
No, it's already done and completed. It's back. All right. So you guys have to come over here so that they can hear you.
So I'm just going to introduce Angel Fuentes. He is Rotaract at UCLA. He's going to be very involved next year as well. So he's going to tell you all about his trip to Ecuador.
Yes, okay, so let me just do some quick logistics. I'm just going to.
So you like Hello Kitty as well?
Yes, I do. Just kidding. Almost finished. Logging my account. I'm so glad I took this one technology class in middle school because then it's kind of doing all that stuff. Mm-hmm.
President-elect Benjamin, may I just shout out? I would like to thank Westwood Village Rotary for sending Angel and Ricky to the humanitarian trip. We really loved having them. They were hit counters and they really made the trip extra special for us. So thank you.
So Mikiko, did they put on extra work since they were young?
We did.
Did they really do my work as I hope? Okay. Is you? I don't know if this works. This works? See. Yes. So just press there.
Oh, really?
Left.
Oh, this one? Oh, okay.
There you go.
On the side, okay, perfect.
Yes.
Everyone, happy, very enthusiastic to present. So, from April 2nd to April 9th, me and Ricky Ramirez took the trip.
I didn't.
On our trip to the capital of Ecuador, the life-changing experience it was for me and Ricky. So I'm going
Okay, so
Hello?
I think it's my voice.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so as I was saying, I wanted to present everything in chronological order, right? Going from even the airplane trip that we took on Tuesday, which, you know, was quite a long trip, but it was still really nice to finally arrive around midnight, 1 a.m. At the Capitol and go to a really nice hotel. But obviously the main content is going to be, you know, direct community service that we did and the overall experience that we had in Ecuador. And this was also the first time that I was in a new continent as well. I've never been in Southern America. I never have been in Europe or Asia or Africa. So it was really surreal to actually walk outside the airport and smell this new, you know, fresh air of a continent I've never been in. So immediately we wake up at 6 in the morning, me and Ricky, we don't really have an idea where the cafeteria is or, you know, the curfew. Well, we didn't know about the curfew, but like where we had to, you know, wait for the bus and stuff. But we got all that figured out. We had an incredible breakfast. And for the majority of the day, we took a lot of tours of Ecuador. We found out a lot about its history, a lot of the really fascinating development that Ecuador has had over time. I thought it was really interesting that Ecuador's currency is actually the US dollar as well, which they instigated around the early 2000s. But I think the really cool part of that day is when we literally went to the middle of the world and were able to like be one side on the Eastern Hemisphere and one side on the Western. And that was truly a surreal experience as we were provided a lot of the history as well of the indigenous people there. And then, so once we finished kind of going around the actual literal equator, right, we would equally divide the Western and Eastern parts of the world. We then went into the Old Town, and it's, I believe, the second most preserved like old town there is in the world, right next to Mexico. I think Mexico City has even more preserved areas, but it was really interesting to see that Ecuador is also a really diverse place too. You see people, you know, who are much more on the Spanish ethnicity, but then there's also the indigenous, there's also the African as well. But it was really cool to see that and to also see like the beautiful architecture and everything. So yeah, we were provided a really great amount of history on that day. We had a dinner as well with some Rotarians, and me and Ricky were pretty humbled to be in, you know, a really nice restaurant to enjoy that dinner. And we took a picture in front of this really tall statue. I think it's actually technically higher elevation than the Jesus the Redeemer statue in Brazil. So it was a really nice day. The majority of this moment was just, you know, getting to comprehend Ecuador, its culture and its history. But the next day is when we really started focusing on community service. And the one really cool presentation that we were provided was on the pacemakers that Westwood Rotary and I believe the Rotary from District 4400 from Texas, you know, directly sponsoring the development of these sustainable pacemakers from people who, you know, are either newborns with defective heart issues or were able to survive and live and actually have adult lives, to people who were, you know, more on the older side who, you know, had their lives, you know, had their success and their achievements, but, you know, wanted to make sure that they lived their last few years comfortably. So these pacemakers really provided a significant contribution, and we got a really cool presentation. And we're also able to see many of those patients and people who were given those pacemakers and say hi to them as well. There's a picture, it's kind of cut out, but it's our governor with a few of the people who received those pacemakers, and they were eternally grateful for us. So we also had our first kind of networking with another Rotary, one in Ecuador, and they had established a peace bell for a kind of like union between Ecuador and Japan, where they actually used like architecture similar to that of traditional Japanese architecture and smelted, I think like a ton worth of Ecuadorian coins to make the actual peace bell. And each one of us rang it in order to signify, you know, that us Rotarians are part of this one international cohort that's beyond just the United States, or just not just beyond Ecuador, or, you know, beyond Ecuador, right? So that was really nice. And later on, yeah, we did go to an elderly center as well, because we sponsored, I believe, $5,000, $6,000
worth of financing for them, which was actually really significant because that's a month's worth for the wages, for the supplies, for the maintenance of the actual facility. So it was really nice to go around and see how grateful people were throughout all of the city from the influence that Rotary has had on projects. So it was really cool. And yeah, me and Ricky throughout this whole time, we're taking pictures and really enjoying our time, making sure that we contribute the most every day. So next, we did a lot of schoolwork. So we went to, I believe, 2 schools this time and made hundreds of backpacks for children who obviously didn't have access to, not even pencils or notebooks, right? So I think one really pertinent thing that really resonated with me about this trip was just seeing how grateful people were and how celebratory they were for just the fact that we were doing this community service, directly trying to contribute our time and our efforts to make the world a better place, including in Ecuador. And so pretty much every time we went to a high school, even the elderly center, or even a restaurant, there would always be some sort of celebration that we would provide in recognition of Rotary. And so, there was those hundreds of students, but they gave like a cultural traditional dance from Ecuador and had multiple people come up with speeches in English to really thank Rotary for, all the great financial support and supplies that they gave. So it was really cool to see that. And later on, I have a picture of Larry. I thought it was kind of funny that he kind of was surprised when I took that picture, but we went to a river that once was very integral for the agriculture and living of the community, but was unfortunately really polluted ever since there was an urbanization in the capital where industrial chemical waste would be dispensed. So they started producing educational videos, also sponsored by Rotary and also helped out by the Rotaries in Ecuador, in order to educate the children to not dispense so much waste into the river, because it was such an important part, not only in terms of agriculture, but in terms of culture as well. So we were there for I would say 2 to 3 hours.
Just want to, not interrupt you, how many minutes do you have to go? I just want to get a sense of time.
Probably 5 minutes.
Can everyone stay for an extra minute? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay, good, all right.
Okay, so yeah, it was really cool that we were able to directly help out and actually directly collect some of the trash and waste that was around the river. I think we had around 30 bags, and obviously, that's just a way for us to really emphasize the community out there, the importance of cleaning up and removing all those pollutants so that the communities around can not only just use the water, but it's something that was very important to culture as well. And later on, we finally had a really nice dinner as well with another Rotary from Ecuador. And once again, because people, it really seems like Rotary does have such an influence internationally because of how it can contribute to community service, to financing people who are underserved. They gave us a really cool dance. Again, another traditional dance with, I think, 16 dancers all doing these really cool kind of ceremonies in order to express their pride in Ecuador. So that was something that was really nice. The last couple are just about, once again, us helping, especially more indigenous, very rural areas. I think this was personally my favorite part of the trip because even though we took 3-hour treks through the forests and mountains on a bus, by ourselves, after waking up at 6 a.m. and going to sleep at 1 a.m., networking with Rotarians or doing a lot of community service, it was really worth it at the end. We went to this one community in the mountains, completely isolated from the rest of Ecuador, where they produce their own food. It's all sustainable. And they just have this very preserved culture and social identity there. And when we went up a 14,000-foot elevation mountain and were able to help out produce water tanks, which was the only thing that apparently that they needed. They didn't need electricity. They were very, happy with the lives that they had, with the agriculture that they had. They just needed that additional water, which the river wasn't able to provide anymore. which we helped out with. And just going up to the top of that mountain, seeing all the like elders from that village, and these two guys in ponchos, one with an accordion, one with a guitar, singing and dancing, and doing all of those traditional dances, which we practice as well at the top of the mountain. That was probably the greatest experience from the trip, because it really emphasized to me that it was like an exchange of culture, and it was exchange of two, different groups of people from thousands of miles away who all were unified in this kind of celebratory dance for helping out and doing things in the name of community service. So that was absolutely surreal, just seeing how different it was. And I also really remember going down the mountain. There was this like 8-year-old kid, like with a white button up in this beautiful horse. He's like, I have work to do right now, but I can go down this mountain and look really cool on this horse. And he went all the way down and took pictures with us and did these really cool poses. So it was really nice.
Picture of the village up there? They all.
Yes, yeah, there's a village up there and down below. Yes.
That's a musical group.
Oh no, this is later on.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah. So yeah, we went to those indigenous communities, and another thing that I also really liked about this trip is that we saw a very diverse group of people. We saw some of the more higher class Spanish citizens to the ones who were very rural and even like indigenous sanctuaries. And in regards to this group, after we went to the mountains, the next day we went to a convent for St. Augustine. It had beautiful architecture, still preserved ever since like the 1600s. And this group is a group of people from some of those indigenous communities or from more lower class backgrounds who are all put into this cohort of professional musicians who play around the world. And so while we were, spending time at the convent, they were playing like beautiful pieces of classical music. Like I was personally impressed too, because I used to play the orchestra and they did wonderful. So it was really beautiful to see how us also giving these instruments as Rotary really helped out these people achieve dreams, not just in their communities, but out, outside of that in their more personal professional dreams. So that was really nice. Unfortunately, there's a cutoff picture of Ricky and one of the main members of the Rotary in Ecuador. And on Monday was when we unfortunately kind of started splitting apart. For some of us went to the Galapagos Islands, some of us went to like beach cities, but me and Ricky, we stayed in Quito with a couple of other Rotarians and got a final last goodbye for Ecuador, for Rotary, and saw like some really interesting sites, gained more history, and eventually said goodbye to the city. So reflecting on the trip and Rotaract at UCLA, I think the main thing that I talked about when it came to meeting those villagers in the mountains, it was really surreal to see, two completely different cultures, two completely different groups of people still unite together over this medium of community service, of helping each other out, right? We provided water tanks, but they provide us this incredible celebration where they gave us, they gave us alcohol and music. So, it was pretty fun, but it was really amazing to see what Rotary was able to do around the world with completely different cultures, completely different groups of people, and, have everyone enjoy a good time. So. I think they're Mayans, but they're like a specific group of Ecuadorian people who speak like 3 different dialects, like one like Guayaquil or something like that. Which, I'm not too sure about what the tribes were. We were provided some history, but it's their own like specific tribes directly from Ecuador. So interesting.
So let's give them a round of applause. And from our club to you, here is a service.
Oh, wow.
And this is for Ricky.
Awesome. Well, we have.
Oh my God, we have presents.
Yes, one for the president and the president-elect. So we have this mug, which also has a picture of all of the Rotary members from Ecuador.
Yeah, I will think about you guys every morning. Thank you, everybody. I will ring the bell where, oh, here it is. Everybody, I ask for permission. It is 1:35 and we are done.
Okay, thank you. Everyone, all past presents, please remain just a few moments.